See, what is Runtime Manager? Runtime Manager is a module of Anypoint platform which is used to deploy and manage Mule applications. Exactly. Okay. Which is deployed on maybe Mule Runtime or CloudHub anywhere. Okay. In the hybrid model, we'll be able to manage Mule applications from Runtime Manager itself, right? Okay. Now, see where Mule Runtime is running on CloudHub or on premises or on RTF also. Exactly. Okay. Whenever you don't know something, don't mention that word. For example, like I used RTF word here, no need to mention it here. If you mention, immediately they will ask, did you work on RTF or do you have an idea on RTF? Exactly. Okay. Whenever you don't know about something, try to avoid that particular word. Okay, fine. Now, by using Runtime Manager, you can deploy or undeploy applications. And one more, stop or restart the applications. And one more thing, what you can do, you can check the logs also, right? Okay. And you can also change the runtime version or increase or decrease the worker size. Horizontal scaling or vertical scaling can be achieved in Runtime Manager. Checking logs can be achieved. Okay, those are all the functions which you can achieve through Runtime Manager. You can discuss. See, whenever they ask you a question, whatever is the information is there in your mind, please try to represent that in a proper format. That's enough. I'm telling Runtime Manager is a component of Anypoint platform which is used to deploy and manage applications. Okay, the applications can be deployed anywhere in CloudHub or on premises also. Okay, on premises also. Then what I can tell Runtime Manager can be used to check the logs, stop and start the application, deploy and undeploy the applications. Okay, I can horizontal scaling or vertical scaling also can be achieved through Runtime Manager. Now you already know about horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. You know, you use the word, immediately his mind will be diverted to ask you a question on horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. Exactly. Okay, if you don't know, don't tell it. That's the way you have to answer. Okay, then what is vCore? What is that? vCore refers to a unit of compute capacity. Exactly. vCore can be used to measure, right? What is the memory and CPU there? Exactly. Okay. Compute capacity used on CloudHub platform. In one vCore, a maximum of 10 applications can be deployed. Why 10? Point 1 is the least, right?
Yes.
Right? If you see 10% of one vCore is 0.1 only. That's why 10 applications can be deployed on CloudHub. Exactly. In one vCore, a maximum of 10 applications can be deployed where 0.1 vCore will be consumed by each Mule application. In CloudHub, I am telling, not on standalone. Okay, fine. What is worker in MuleSoft? Worker is a dedicated Mule instance that runs your Mule application on CloudHub platform. Right? Okay. Features of workers. What is that? Each worker has a specific amount of capacity to process data. What is that? 0.1 vCore or 0.2 vCore, 0.3 vCore. That way, if you mention it, then automatically it has the capacity according to the allotted vCores. Exactly. Isolation. Each worker runs in a separate container, right? In CloudHub, exactly, only one application can be deployed on one worker. Why is that? It is acting like a separate virtual machine and it is in a container. Exactly. That is the reason we will be able to deploy only one application in a one worker. Exactly. And it will be separated from other applications. Exactly. Got it? Okay. Management. Each worker is deployed and managed independently. Locality. Each worker runs in specific worker cloud, such as we have different regions, right? US, European region, and Asia Pacific region. Exactly. Now worker can be provisioned anywhere in the regions. Exactly. That's what. How many Mule applications you can deploy in one worker of CloudHub? Only one, right? Mule application. Okay. What are the minimum and maximum worker sizes available in CloudHub? 0.1 vCore is the minimum and 16 vCores are the maximum worker size available respectively in CloudHub. Exactly. 0.1 vCore is the minimum and 16 vCores are the maximum. What is the maximum number of workers you can deploy a Mule application on CloudHub? 8 workers. Okay, you can deploy Mule application on 8 workers in CloudHub. I think we have discussed all these things if you remember. while discussing the project. Exactly. Now, immediately, what is horizontal scaling and when to opt for this? We have seen a detailed explanation of horizontal scaling. Why is it required? When is it required? I'll just tell you the process of increasing the number of workers and deploying applications on those workers is known as horizontal scaling. It provides high availability. For example, if one of the worker is down, the other worker is available to take the request, right? If it is available on multiple workers, exactly. That's the reason I told it as high availability. Go for horizontal scaling in the following use cases. Whenever there is an increase in the number of requests with the same payload size. For example, like initially we are getting 5,000 requests. Now it increased to maybe 7,000 or 8,000 requests per day. Then what should we do? We should go for horizontal scaling if the capacity is not fulfilled by the existing number of workers. Exactly. Okay. For high availability, why we go for horizontal scaling? For high availability and less downtime. For example, like if you deploy application on one worker, what happens? If it is down, the consumer has to wait till it is up. Okay, that's the reason I told less downtime, right? Then what is vertical scaling and when to opt for this? The process of increasing the vCode size of a worker is known as vertical scaling, and go for vertical scaling in the following use cases. When there is an increase in the payload size of requests. Okay, for example, we are getting a 10 KB 10 KB size request, and it has been increased to maybe 25 or 30 or 40 KB because of the discussion business requirements. Then what you should do, your application is not able to handle that. Because of that reason, you should go for vertical scale. See, if you change also, if the same application is not getting affected, no problem. Whenever it is getting affected, you'll do a performance testing, right? At that point of time, you will come to know. Okay, if the same configuration is not fulfilled, the same request is not able to processed with the same configuration, okay, then you need to increase and see. Otherwise, the same can be used. Okay, I just took an example like maybe 10 KB to 30 KB. Even 0.1 vCore, honestly speaking, it has a capacity to process 25-30 KB request also. Okay, I think MB size request also can be handled. Fine. And whenever there is an increase in the number of requests, is the same payload size also. Okay, see this horizontal one also here the second point, but most of the time you go for vertical scaling. This is the first point, exactly first point. Second case also possible, you can go for it. You don't have number of workers. If you increase the memory of the same application, it can have the capacity to process more number of requests, right? Exactly. Okay, fine. Any questions here till now? Okay. What is Mule runtime? A Mule runtime is a runtime engine to host and run Mule applications or project, exactly. Right? Okay. It is similar to an application server. Mule runtimes can be provisioned on premises or in the cloud. See, CloudHub already they provided everything. It's known as worker. But whenever you have Mule runtime, you take it. You have to take it and install it on a server or on cloud, exactly. Private cloud or the cloud you take separately. CloudHub already made the total infrastructure and it is giving just plug in and try to manage it or use it, exactly. Okay, fine. Now explain different deployment models you have worked on MuleSoft. Don't tell all the deployment models. Okay, tell whatever you are confident on. Okay, mostly like CloudHub and tell hybrid or on premises also if you, but explore some knowledge on it, little more knowledge. Okay, when going to tell maybe RTF or some other strategies, exactly, deployment strategies. Yeah. Okay, see, I told CloudHub, on premises, hybrid and RTF. I have discussed 4 here. What is that? CloudHub is an integration platform as a service, right, that provides server functionality. Control and runtime planes are provided by MuleSoft itself. Okay, right? And when Mule applications are deployed to CloudHub, then it is known as CloudHub deployment model. Next, in on-premises model, the infrastructure, control and runtime planes are managed by the client itself or the user itself. Exactly. When Mule applications are deployed on on-premises servers, then it is known as on-premise deployment model. Now, in the hybrid model, the control plane is provided by MuleSoft and the runtime plane is managed by the user. When Mule applications are deployed on on-premises servers and the applications are managed with Anypoint platform, it is known as hybrid deployment model. Got it? I am trying to discuss each and everything there. Exactly. Okay, fine. Now, what is RTF? Runtime Fabric. RTF stands for Runtime Fabric, and Runtime Fabric is a container-based service that automates the deployment and orchestration of applications. Exactly. Okay, it can be on-premise or cloud. See, RTF is a deployment strategy provided by, again, MuleSoft. Okay, it gives the facility of CloudHub kind of things on your premises or cloud, a separate cloud. Got it? Okay, fine. RTF is based on Kubernetes and Docker. When Mule applications are deployed on RTF, it is known as RTF deployment model. But whenever you wanted to mention an RTF, right, you have to explore some more knowledge on it and then only mention it. Otherwise, don't mention it. Okay, got it? If they ask you also, you can tell, see, till now I haven't gotten a chance to work on RTF deployment model. If I get the chance, I'm ready to work on it, learn it and work on it. Exactly. Now we have used two words called control plane, runtime plane, right? Okay. Now we should see what is control plane. Control plane consists of design center, exchange and management center, which are helpful to design, deploy and manage Mule applications. Okay. Now, what is runtime plane? The runtime plane includes Mule runtime server, connectors, and supporting services. This is where Mule applications are actually deployed and made available to the users. That is runtime plane. Okay. If control plane and runtime plane are managed by MuleSoft, then it is known as CloudHub. Okay, right? Completely on premises, both are available on premises, then it is known as on premises. Control plane on Anypoint platform, okay, or MuleSoft, and runtime plane on premises, then it is known as hybrid. Okay, even RTF is also a runtime is managed by what? Client only, because we are trying to take that container service and we are deploying them in the client's cloud or client's on-premises servers. Exactly. Got it? Then what is auto tuning? Auto tuning is the process of allocation of more workers automatically as per the requirement. See, for example, now if you observe, we want to do horizontal scaling. What you should do, you should go to runtime manager, okay, and increase the number of workers there, and then restart. Automatically, it will try to apply the settings there. Okay. For example, do you know when the traffic will start? When the traffic spike will start? No, right? Most probably sometimes we will not be having the control, right? Unless you apply the rate limiting policy. If there is a concept called auto tuning, automatically it will spike, it will sense the traffic, how much traffic it is getting to that particular application. Based on that, it will try to do the allocation of number of workers. Again, it will reduce if not required automatically. But that provision is available in CloudHub, okay, and at an extra licensing cost. It will not be given normally. Okay, is that clear? Auto tuning is the process of upgrading or downgrading the number of workers required for the applications. Exactly. Now, explain the differences between CloudHub and on-premises deployment strategies. Exactly. They may ask you, right? If you tell I worked on CloudHub and on-premises, immediately what is the next question? Can you please spot me some differences between those two deployments? Exactly. See, CloudHub control and runtime planes are provided by MuleSoft. See, everywhere you're trying to add some keywords and you're trying to divert the interviewer to ask the questions which you know. You told control and runtime plane. If I'm the interviewer, immediately I'll ask what is control plane, what is runtime plane exactly. Okay, I want to just test the knowledge. That is the reason always try to use the words which you know, which you are confident of. Randomly, don't use the keywords exactly. Okay, fine. Now, maximum of 10 applications can be deployed with 1 week code. Domains project is not possible. Are you aware of domains project? Hmm? Okay, we'll discuss that. There is a concept called domains project exactly. What is domains project? I'll discuss. But domains project is not possible in RTF as well as cloud. Okay, fine. And less maintenance, right? Almost everything will be taken care by whom? MuleSoft. You just log in and then use the services exactly. Now, Anypoint MQ service. What are Anypoint MQ services? It's a queue services provided by MuleSoft. Okay, Anypoint MQ services are available at extra cost in CloudHub, but that is not available in on-premises. Exactly. Okay, fine. Now, on-premises. Control and runtime places are managed by client. Domains project can be used. Okay, more number of applications can be deployed based on the size of the application. As per my understanding, for 1 week or we can go for some 40-50 applications also. Okay, for 1 week or if your applications are not so high in frequency, then you can go for more number of applications. You got it? Now you see in MuleSoft, in CloudHub, it is mandatory that you cannot go for more than 10 applications exactly. But here you can go for more number of applications based on your requirement. Okay. More maintenance because you need to maintain your server, you need to maintain your patches, you need to maintain your software, OS, everything, right? More maintenance will be there, and obviously it will be costlier also to take care of all the maintenance activities and all. Okay. More control over data. Why? All your application data is available on your servers only. That is the reason more secured and more control over the data. Exactly. Is that clear? Now, yes, please. Someone has a question? Okay.
Hi Mahesh, sorry to disturb you, interrupt you.
Yes, please.
There are a lot like have overcome a what you call means a job posting like it's about MuleSoft RPA. What is MuleSoft RPA? And they do have some openings on RPA too.
Okay. Mhm. See, what is your experience? Can you please tell me that?
My overall experience is 4 plus, and
Okay. Mhm.
in which I worked only for 1.5 years for SAP postings, like AR posting and SAP postings,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
from then I'm not working for any organization. But from I have learned this MuleSoft at Kishore Sar's Institute in the last March.
Okay. Okay. See, only RPA will not have more number of opportunities. Exactly. Okay. MuleSoft is trying to come into the process automation part also. Okay. That is RPA, robotic process automation. UiPath is the leader in that particular segment. But MuleSoft is also coming into that segment to automate some processes. For example, like there is a process in banking. For example, as soon as you go to a bank, what happens? You need to open a bank account. There is a process right there. If I wanted to automate that process, we can use some softwares exactly. Okay, there are so many tools like integration tools. We have MuleSoft, TIPCO, so many tools, right? Boomi, like this. The same way for robotic process automations, we have so many things in the market. Okay, now even MuleSoft also came into that. They wanted to automate some processes based on the experience they got till now. Okay, for that they are using that, and it is a costly tool. Only for RPA, you will not have the opportunities more in number.
Okay.
Okay, is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear, and I have one more doubt. It may
Hmm.
be smaller. What they're asking, like you should be good in you should be having experience in documentation. Like what kind of documentation and what does it involves? Can you explain, please?
See exactly. See, don't divert the group from with the regular questions. Exactly. Okay.
Sorry, sorry.
See these questions. I'm asking you any doubts for this particular section right now. Okay. These questions can be answered in the last. Okay. Is that
Okay,
okay?
sorry. Okay, okay, it's fine. Thank you.
Because there is a larger group and everyone asks questions, right? What happens? Entire group will be diverted from the actual lessons to the different things. Exactly.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. Thank you.
Okay. If there are any questions in this particular section right now, you can ask me.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Any other questions till now?
No, no.
Okay. 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 Then we'll take a break and then we'll join at 11:30. Okay.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. And one more thing I just wanted to inform. Whatever is written here, it's very simple in English. Okay. It's not as per the documentation or something like that. Okay, I try to write it in whatever we say in the interview, kind of interview language kind of thing. Exactly. Okay, most of the things are very simplified. If you're still facing some difficulty, break them into your own language. Exactly. Okay, got it. I tried my level best to simplify. Okay, fine. What is cluster? Okay, what is cluster? A cluster is a set of up to 8 servers that act as a single deployment target. Okay, for example, we have uh, application. Say for example, on-premises hybrid model is there. Okay, in hybrid model, okay, there are some 4 servers, and in 4 servers there are 4 mule runtimes. Okay, now I wanted my application to be deployed on 4 servers. See, if it is CloudHub, that is fine. Already 4 workers are there. You are trying to deploy and you are trying to maintain that cluster related. Automatically, cloud will manage for you that cluster kind of thing. But here, there are 4 physical different servers. Okay, you are deploying your application 4. Then, then how does the client know the request has to be sent to which server? For example, like server 1, server 2, server 3, server 4. Now server 1 dot port is 8081, for example. Server 1 dot 8081 and slash path. Server 2 dot 8081. Server 3 dot 8081. Server 4 dot 8081. Now the request is coming. Okay, where to divert that exactly? See, what is cluster exactly? Generally, what happens in regular? I'll just open that. I'll tell this two. Tell these two. See, when you deploy to CloudHub, exactly, for example, See, for example, think of this is CloudHub. Okay, you deployed the application on 4 workers. This is worker 1, okay, worker 2, worker 3, worker 4. This is, for example, transaction system API. You deployed on all 4 workers. Transaction system API. Okay, transaction system API. Now the request is coming. How it will go to worker 1 or worker 2 or worker 3, worker 4 exactly? How does the consumer knows? The consumer will send the request. Load balancer will be there. We will be exposing the load balancer URL to consumer. Got it? Load balancer URL to consumer, and this load balancer will be assigned with worker 1 related details, worker 2 related details, 3 details, 4 details exactly. Automatically, CloudHub environment will take care of this exactly. Okay, it will try to the first request came in. It will round robin method, right? I told round robin method for load balancing. What it will try to do? It will send the first request to first worker, second request to second, third to third, fourth to fourth, fifth one again first one. It will rotate it exactly, right? Automatically, CloudHub platform itself is taking care of this clustering concept exactly. Yes or no? Okay, here they know this application is deployed on 4 applications. They know each other. Okay, first request is coming here, second request is sending here, third request like this. This is known as clustering. Okay, but in the second case, I told this is a, for example, there are 4 on-premises servers. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. 10.1.2.5, 10.1.2.6, 10.1.2.7, 10.1.2.8. Here there is a mule runtime, mule runtime, mule runtime, mule runtime. Now we can deploy many applications here, right? But I have deployed my transaction system API here on the 4 servers. Okay, now I am following hybrid model. Now I deployed in the 4 applications, but the request is coming. Who will take care of which? A request has to be forwarded to the right application server exactly. Okay, again load balancer only. Okay, load balancer. Okay, we'll see. We'll see that exactly. Right now, even I'm not thinking of it. We'll see. Now, again, the request will be passed on to the respective server in the round robin basis exactly. Now, what happens is, if you cluster these, what is the advantages? They can share the resources also. Okay, cluster means what? Intelligent enough to understand what they can share the resources. For example, like what is the state of class, the 0.5 mule runtime, 0.7 mule runtime, 0.6 runtime, 0.8 runtime exactly. Okay, fine. Now we'll see the definition here and then we'll come back. Cluster is a set of, not set of up to 8 servers, up to 8 servers I'm telling. Okay, it means that it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, it can be 5 also, that act as a single deployment target. Okay, there is a cluster. I wanted to deploy the application. There are 4 nodes in it. I call each one as a node exactly. Okay, all these are 4 nodes, for example, like all these are 4 nodes. I told deploy to the cluster. Now automatically my application will be deployed on 4 servers, right? And they can share the resources also. Okay. If it is only one, what happens? It cannot be achieved. This high availability will not be achieved, right? Okay. And loading results or the system crashes or the application server crashes, what happens exactly? Again, there will be a problem. High availability will not be available exactly. Okay. For that reason, we will try to form the cluster. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, there was a disconnected the internet exactly. Yeah. See here, a cluster is a set of up to 8 servers that act as a single deployment target. Okay, and high availability processing unit. Okay, I told you right. It is maintained for high availability. It is maintained for single deployment target exactly. Now, application instances in a cluster are aware of each other. They share common information and synchronize statuses. Okay. See, and if one server fails, another server takes over processing applications. Okay, a cluster can run multiple applications. See, what is it? Cluster is nothing but I'm trying to group some server nodes exactly. Okay, what it can do, it can run multiple applications. If one application fail in one node, the other node will pick it up from where it stopped exactly. Got it? That's what the meaning of this particular information. A cluster can run multiple. Okay, fine. Before creating a cluster, you must create the Mule runtime engine instances and add the Mule servers to any point runtime manager. Okay, we know, right? Whenever we wanted to go for a hybrid model, what is the model we have to follow? What are the steps? We'll uh, install the Mule instances, Mule runtimes in respective servers. Okay, respective servers. After that, what happens? Then you should register those servers in our runtime manager. After that, you need to create a cluster. Okay, there is again how to create a cluster. There is a separate. See, all this comes under anypoint platform related details. Okay, most probably if they ask you, see, already the setup was ready and I'm using that. Okay, uh, we had a separate DevOps team who used to take care of all these activities. You can tell them. Do you have experience creating a cluster? If they ask you that kind of question, you can tell them exactly. Okay, till now even I haven't got the chance to, but anyway we know what is what, how it will be done and all exactly, but in real time even now Even till now, I haven't got the opportunity to create the cluster and all exactly. Okay, fine. And once you add them to the cluster, what happens? You can deploy if you deploy the application, if you select the cluster, automatically it will be deployed to the 4 nodes. And I told you, if any of the nodes will fail, again other one will take it. Okay, round robin basis load balancer, automatically shared load balancer will be there. By default, shared load balancer will be available exactly for cluster. Okay, right? Yeah. What is a cluster? Cluster is a set of servers that act as a single deployment target and high availability processing unit. Exactly. Okay. Application instances in a cluster are aware of each other. Why each other? Then only that is called as a cluster. Because if one request fails in node 1, okay, it is processing and the application 1 is down in server 1, for example. Second server will pick it up from where it stopped exactly, because it knows the status of server 1. Got it? That's what exactly. And they will share the common information also and synchronize statuses. If one server fails, another server takes over processing applications. A cluster can run multiple applications. Before creating a cluster, you create the Mule runtime engine instances and add the Mule servers to Anypoint runtime manager. But in CloudHub, all these will be taken up automatically. You should just select 4 workers or 5 workers while deploying the application. Got it? Yeah. Now, what is server group? Okay, a server group is a set of servers, again same set of servers that act as a single deployment target for applications. You can see, for example, like if I wanted to deploy to 4 servers, what should I do? I should go to runtime manager, select the first server, deploy, again go to runtime manager, select the second server, again deploy, third server, select third server, select fourth server, 4. How many? What is the effort going on there? So much, right? I will create a server group and then deploy using server group. One time, all 4 applications will be deployed to 4 servers, but they will not share the resources. Okay, it will not act like a cluster. It will act like a server group only. Only group. It will take out your deployment hassle. That's it. Not high availability, all those things exactly. That is the difference between cluster and server group. Okay. See, a server group is a set of servers that act as a single deployment target for applications so that you don't have to deploy applications to each server individually. Okay. Application instances in a server group run in isolation. It means that what? One status of the server, one is unknown to another. Exactly. Same way. That's what I am telling it as isolation from the application instances running on the other servers in the group. Only for deploying it will help. If you don't want to do a cluster, that is fine. Exactly. What is the difference between server group and cluster? Server group and clustering both run in multiple distributed nodes. What is distributed nodes? Nodes means servers only again. I'm using a different word there. Exactly. In the server group, instances of the application are isolated from each other. In clustering, nodes are aware of each other, share common information and synchronize status. All the servers in the server group and cluster must be running on the same version of Mule runtime. Then only you'll be able to add them. If it is of different Mule instance, again it will not be possible. Got it? These are the things. Now, how to achieve clustering in MuleSoft? Maybe this kind of question you will get it. You can achieve this by adding multiple workers to your application to make it horizontally scale. For example, like if it is CloudHub, what you will do? You'll directly select 3 or 4 applications. Automatically, the clustering is achieved. Exactly. But if it is hybrid, you have to create a cluster. Where you will create a cluster? Runtime manager only. We know how to add a server, right? The same way, we have the option to create a cluster. See here. This is servers, right? What we do, we go here and then we try to add the server. Here itself you see create cluster, create group. This is for creating server group. This is for creating server. Sorry, cluster. Because we don't have the servers here. Okay, we are not able to create the group as well as create cluster. Now, once you click on this, what happens? You'll be able to select all the servers. Okay, and there are certain settings. You can give the name for your cluster, and you can, again there is a classification in unicast and multicast uh, cluster type exactly. Okay, that will be picked, and there is a difference. Okay, don't bother about that much exactly at this point of time. Okay, for you, for your range, that is not required. If they ask you also, you can tell I'm not aware of it exactly. Okay, and then you can create the cluster. Okay, then while deploying the application, what you'll try to do, you'll try to deploy the application on the server, the cloud, what is it, cluster. The cluster will be available here. You can select the cluster. Automatically it will take care of the rest of the job, distributing that application to 4 servers. Okay, got it, right? Now server group also same. The only thing is, server group will not share the resources, and they will not know the status of each servers exactly. They run in isolation mode. Okay, fine. Now, any questions here? See, CloudHub automatically distribute multiple workers for same application across 2 or more data centers for maximum reliability when deploying our application to 2 or more workers. For example, like when you select 3 workers for application in CloudHub, what it will try to do, it will go to multiple data centers. It will not keep in the same. For example, like some heavy cyclone has come in USA, okay, and data center is available in the same city, and the data center is down. If your worker is in another data center of other city, it will be easily up and running, right? Yes or no? Okay, that's the reason. Automatically CloudHub will take care of that kind of facilities. Exactly. Got it right? Okay. Now, for maximum reliability when deploying your application to 2 or more workers, the HTTP load balancing service distributes requests across these workers, allows you to scale your services horizontally. Requests are distributed on a round robin basis. Whatever we discussed, the same has been told here. Exactly. Okay, a load balancing service will take care of the distributing the traffic. And what happens? It will be distributed on a round robin mechanism. If you wanted to change that, you have the provision to change. Again, you need to know like what kind of mechanism I have to go for exactly. Okay, fine. Now, what is implementation URL and proxy URL? Implementation URL is the URL generated by the CloudHub once the application is deployed is known as implementation URL. For example, like if it is hybrid, the server IP port and then resource path is the implementation URL, right? Got it? If there is any domain name, that domain, for example, like I told you, we are trying to put a load balancer. Load balancer will have the domain name, maybe like google.com, like that exactly. Okay, that domain name will be again mapped to those server IPs and ports exactly. Now, which one you will try to share it to client or the consumer? Load balancer URL, right? Told you. Load balancer URL will be, for example, like www.google.com/something exactly. For example, then the domain name is of load balancers. From load balancer, again it will distribute the traffic to the respective servers as it is already tagged exactly. Is that clear? Okay. Uh, Implementation URL, and for example, like a proxy has been created on top of a API. Okay, and URL will be generated for that also, right? That is also API only, right? And all non-functional requirements like policies and all will be applying it on proxy. Okay, that URL is known as proxy URL. That's what exactly here. And what is anypoint VPC? VPC means virtual private cloud. VPC stands for virtual private cloud. It is a dedicated cloud allocated for the user. For example, now CloudHub, you took the license. It will be a shared cloud. Okay, whenever you wanted to go for a dedicated cloud, you should request the MuleSoft, and then there may be some extra charges for it exactly. and then they'll be giving you a virtual private cloud. It means that what in the cloud platform, CloudHub platform itself, a isolated area will be allocated for you. A isolated space will be allocated for you where other clients will not be consuming that particular space. Got it? Okay, that's known as virtual private cloud. See, what is cloud? For example, there is an apartment. Okay, the services are shared by all the owners and the tenants of this particular complex, or only one person will use it. All the people, right? The same way here also, the cloud is there. All the people will be using that. Okay, shared access. Exclusively, if I told like this service is for this particular, for example, space is for this particular consumer, then it will be allocated for that only. No other people will be allowed. Exactly. That's known as virtual private cloud in simple terms. Exactly. For example, like I have been allocated this area, and that area will not, that space will not be utilized by anyone else in that cloud itself. Okay, that's what virtual private cloud. See, there, whenever you go for virtual private cloud, there are some advantages out of it. Exactly. What are that? Because nobody will be sharing. Okay, and you have the chance to go for a dedicated load balancer. Okay, you can go for your own domain name. Domain name means whatever the said, right? It's www.google.com, like that. You can go for your own thing. There are certain advantages. That's the reason, and you have control your data also. And whenever there are shared services, what happens exactly? The performance of that particular application also will be slower, right? Because other services are also using the same services. Got it? Okay, fine. Now, what is VPN? Anypoint VPN is used to create a connection between MuleSoft VPC and on-premise network. For example, we have taken a VPC. VPC, see, for example, like we are an Indian organization, okay? Cloud Technologies, or our organization name is Cloud Technologies, for example. Now, this Cloud Technologies has taken a virtual private cloud with MuleSoft. They have provided this particular space in my Asia Pacific region. Asia Pacific region servers are available, data centers are available, most probably in Singapore, I think. Exactly. Okay. In Singapore data center or in multiple data centers, they have given you a space, virtual private cloud. But your development work will start from or implemented from India only, right? Now, from your local laptops or your desktops, you need to communicate to the virtual private cloud. There are two ways. One is directly publicly you can do it, or I will try to create a connection, a private connection from our local network to Anypoint VPC. That is known as VPN, virtual private network. We are trying to create a private network to connect from our local systems to virtual private cloud allocated to us. Exactly. Now what happens? Security is more, right? Yes or no? Because data will be going to and fro, right? Data will be transferring. Okay, we need security, right? For that reason, obviously, this particular thing is available with us, available with MuleSoft. Exactly. If they ask you what is VPN, if you tell this much of answer, that is more than enough.
In some cases, using the VPN is same thing like that.
Come again, come again.
But we are in some in games, we are using VPN. It's like that same.
Yes, VPN is same. The concept is same. Okay, but see, maybe terminologies will be different and all. We are trying to create a network, exclusive network to connect with the cloud available for us. They are calling it as VPN, maybe Anypoint VPN. Okay, if some other company names it, they may name it differently, but concept is same only. Okay, whenever you wanted to connect to one system or a different system through a private network, you will do the same thing. But the underground process is taken care by MuleSoft. You just go there, do some 2 to 3 configurations, and then start away your usage. Otherwise, if you wanted to do it on your own, it will take a lot of time, right? Okay. Now, immediately, what is a load balancer? Okay, load balancer will help us to balance the load levied on application deployed on different servers or workers. The load balancer URL is exposed to the external stakeholders. For example, one Mule application is deployed on 4 different on-premises servers. All consumers will send requests to load balancer, which in turn will distribute the request to 4 different app servers. If it is a cluster, got it? Okay, fine. What is a shared load balancer? A shared load balancer in CloudHub resides outside the client's VPC. Okay, it is a shared resource, shared between customers and common for a specific CloudHub region. Okay, for if there is a region, US region or EU region, there will be a common load balancer. Everyone who is part of that cloud services, right, all will be sharing the same load balancer. Okay, now it routes and balances the external HTTP HTTPS traffic to multiple applications. And what is the condition I told? Ports, if you remember, for SLB 8081 8082, right? For HTTP, the port is 8081 for shared load balancer. For HTTPS, the port is 8082. If it is a dedicated load balancer, then we'll go for 8091, 8092. What is a dedicated load balancer? Dedicated load balancer is an optional component in any point. Okay, that allows the root, that allows to route external HTTP or HTTPS traffic to multiple applications deployed to CloudHub within VPC. Okay, right? For ports for DLB, HTTP 8091, HTTPS 8092. Exactly. Now, what are the differences between shared load balancer and dedicated load balancer? It is available in all environments by default, shared load balancer. Okay, right? And it provides basic functionality like load balancing. That's it. It will not allow anything else for you basically. It doesn't allow you to configure custom SSL certificates and proxy rules. If you want to do some specific rules and all, you will not be allowed. If you wanted to customize your certificate also, for example, I wanted to keep my own certificate. Okay, it is not possible because it is a shared one, right? That is the reason a shared load balancer will not give the facility of keeping your certificate. Exactly. Now, SLB has lower rate limits and it is different for each region. Rate limit means what? Maybe for this application, I'll allow this much only. If it exceeds, again you will get the error. Means downtime is high, right? Okay, because you never know. For example, like we are getting 10,000 requests per day and the rate limit is 5,000. Other 5,000 will be not receiving the response at all, right? Okay, that's the reason, and it is different for different regions. Actually, there is a rate limiting on the load balancer. That is also a disadvantage. Exactly. If the application is deployed to CloudHub with SLB and exceeds the rate limit, it will return 503 service unavailable, not with the 429. Okay, right? Got it? Next, dedicated load balancer. One of the limitations of shared load balancer is the lower rate limit. To avoid that issue, you can use a dedicated load balancer. All applications can be hosted under a single domain. I told you domain name, right? We can put a domain name also. And custom SSL certificates can be configured on DLB. Our special certificates can be kept. If you want to make our services as HTTPS, you have to configure your certificate, right? Own certificate. Okay. Then you can do that also. And optionally, two-way authentication can be enforced if required. Handle load balancing among the different CloudHub workers that run your application. Again, it will do the load balancing also, and you can define your rules also. If you wanted to define some rules like for port 8091 8092 is there. That is one rule. For example, like if you want to define some other rules also, you can define the rules there. but all these activities will be done by most of the time administrators, exactly. Okay, your MuleSoft administrators. There is a certification called MCPA, MuleSoft Certified Platform Associate. Okay, all these comes under those kind of certifications, MCPA. Okay, MCPA means platform related. These are all platform related only, right? Any point platform related. Okay, fine. Okay, there are certain things which are not covered as part of the project training. Obviously, it is not possible, right, to cover everything. Okay, some questions which are not part of that, you can see it here. Okay, fine. Now, what is a domain project? Can we use it in CloudHub or RTF? Okay, see, domain project is a common mule project where you can keep all common resources such as property files, connector configurations, all those in the project, and then you can refer that project in your main project. It is like a fragment. The same fragment can be utilized across multiple API specifications, right? The same way, why it is reusable. Same way, if there are 4 property files, okay, which can be reused across multiple projects, for example, and some connector configurations, I'll keep them in a domain project, and then I will refer that domain project in my main project. Okay, that's called domain project. What all I can define there? I can define some common resources such as property files, connectors, and their configurations. The resources can be consumed by multiple projects. It can be used only on premises. If you observe, whenever we deployed our project on standalone server or hybrid server, did you see domains? Every time you see, right, domains, whenever you do it locally, exactly. Domain, in that domain, your domains project will be hosted when you deploy your project. Domain project cannot be an independent project because it doesn't have any source of any other things, exactly. It can act as a supporting project for your main project. Okay, and here see, it cannot be used by CloudHub or RTF. It is only exclusively available on premises. Why? Because each application will be deployed on a container, right, in worker. Even in RTF, what is RTF? CloudHub kind of facility in the customer's network, client's network, right? What is CloudHub doing? It is creating one virtual machine called as worker, and our application will be deployed on it. And this worker doesn't have any connection with anyone else, exactly. Then how it can refer other project? It cannot refer, right? Got it? That's why it is not possible in RTF as well as cloud. Okay, fine. I asked the same question yesterday. He was able to answer it. Okay. See, when you go to studio, right? Here you have option. Okay, you create the mule domain project, okay, with some name and all, okay, and then what happens? For example, like I want that domain project in my this project. For example, I can right click, go to properties. If they ask you the steps, okay, you can tell this. Then where are modules? Yeah, mule project modules, APIs, exactly. See, click on mule project, then you have that will be available here if they're in the same domain, because your workspace domain and MuleSoft domain projects domain and this domain will be same, right? They are deployed on default. Now that will be available and you can select and apply, and all the connector configurations, property file configurations, you will be able to access in your transaction system. Okay, is that clear? If they ask you the steps also, you can tell it. Okay. Now, explain different ways of deploying Mule applications. What is the first step exactly? Like, what is the first method? Export jar from Anypoint Studio and import to Runtime Manager, configure the properties and then deploy. This is one way. Okay, right? Configure Anypoint platform credentials in Anypoint Studio and then right click on the project and deploy. That is also available, right? Exactly. Click in the code to the central repository, configure the required properties on check in the code to central repository like GitHub or Bitbucket, and then trigger the CI/CD pipeline. Right? Mostly they'll in the real time. This is the process which we follow. Okay. This is what which is pending for us. Okay. Fine. Now drag and drop the jar to the Mule instance of on-premise server. If the anchor file is generated, then your application is successfully deployed. Okay, these are the ways. If they ask you this kind of question, if you answer this, see, they'll test your knowledge. Now already you know, right? Okay, through Anypoint platform credentials you can do it from Studio itself. Okay, through pipeline you can do it, or you can directly export a jar file and then you can do it. Okay, you have the awareness of the MuleSoft platform. That's what exactly they will try to test you. Now, can you disable the CloudHub logs? And I can connect to a different server, I can do that exactly. See, CloudHub logs has some limitation, right? If you see, every time 100 MB limitation will be there. Once 100 MB is achieved, immediately the old logs will be archived and only the new logs will be available. In some instances, the business requirement is very, very critical. I need more data or more logs of previous months and years also. Then what should I do? I should go for a custom logs. Exactly, most of the organizations will try to go for custom logs, exactly, like Splunk. Or they will try to do, they will disable the CloudHub logging and they will do some settings to enable logging in Splunk. Okay, those kind of systems, exactly. That's what. Yes, in that case only the system logs are available in Runtime Manager. System logs means what? It is whether it is deployed or not, why it failed, those kind of logs, not the application level logs, exactly. Okay, and system logs provide the status of your worker deployment and whether your application started correctly, but do not provide application logs. Application logs will be disabled, exactly, and then it will be redirected to external logging services. There is again a separate procedure for doing it. Okay, but understand it. If you have some time, explore and keep the knowledge. If you tell that, well, see, it can be achieved, but I don't have any hands-on doing it also, you can tell. That's fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, any questions in this section? With this, we have completed the Runtime Manager section. Mostly I have covered all parts of Runtime Manager. Okay. Any other questions before proceeding to the next section?